Hello, Grizzlies. My name is Nathan Alam-Sege, and I'm your BSU Vice President, and I'm also the Student Body Officer for Student Council. Today, we are going to have a discussion about identity. One of the reasons our school is so great is the diversity we have and celebrate. Together, we can learn and grow so we can see past our differences. Our fellow Grizzlies are going to kick off the discussion. The first question is, what are some things you want us to know about your identity?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yunus Sherzai and I'm a proud Afghan American attending Spring Valley High School. So what is an Afghan? An Afghan is a person originating from the South Central Asian country of Afghanistan, which borders Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, China, and Iran. Though it's a small country, Afghanistan is very ethnically diverse, with as many as 14 ethnicities being officially recognized by the state. Despite Afghanistan being so diverse, all of us retain the same three basic values of Afghan culture. We have religion, tradition, and family. We are predominantly a Muslim country, but still retain a few minority religions in our nation. As far as traditions and family goes, we tend to spend a lot of time with our family, gathering for weddings, funerals, or just to have fun. In these gatherings, we will often wear our traditional clothes, eat our traditional food, which consists of beef, lamb, and chicken, as well as rice and noodles, and listen to our traditional music. Like myself, many Afghans come to America to seek refuge from the war in our country or to seek more opportunities in life. Being a Muslim Afghan in America has often put me at the butt of a lot of the terrorist jokes, which has often made me feel shameful of my heritage and unsafe in this country, as well as unwelcome. But ever since enrolling into Spring Valley, due to our diverse population and notable Afghan and Muslim populations, I felt more welcome in this school in the past 2 years than I ever have in any school before.
Why is culture important to you?
Hi, my name is Abby Joy, and I think culture is extremely important because for me it makes up a lot of my personality and my identity. It really helped form and shape my values and also my outlook on life. And I also feel like my culture has helped me connect with other people, whether they're outside of my culture or they share the same culture.
Hi, my name is Mary Ganjan and I'm an Armenian senior. Armenia is a small landlocked country in West Asia. It's one of the 3 Caucasian nations. Generally speaking, I see culture as a contributor to identity, but when it comes to Armenia, I see my culture as more of a connection to our past and an establishment of community. For example, I think of the people who came before me that contributed to things like our food, tradition, music, literature, architecture, all of which are incredibly significant to us and they have a historical significance as well. These shared traits all connected us to each other. So when I think of my culture, I think of how we've evolved over time and how we'll continue to do so together. Thank you.
Hi, my name is AJ and I'm a digital media senior at West Korean Technical Academy here in Vegas, and this is why culture is important to me. So pretty much culture is important to me because of its role in my identity. So being Filipino, it's often embedded into my daily life, such as the customs, such as mano po, through the food I eat, such as breakfast and lunch and dinner. It's also the media and songs I consume by other Filipino or Asian American artists. It's something that I personally found comfort in when I was younger, moving from the Philippines to here in this new and unfamiliar environment as a young kid. And I feel like that's why it's specifically important to me, because of its huge role in my identity.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah. I'm the co-president of FASU, and I'm answering the question of why culture is important to me. It is important to me because it defines me as a person, and it has also served as a base for the person that I've become today. It gives me a connection with other Filipino Americans, but it also gives me something to share with people who don't share the same ethnicity. All of my life, I've made connections and friendships with fellow Filipino Americans because culture is something that we can bond over. I also think that sharing one's culture is a great way to come together and kind of connect with people.
Hi, my name is Kira K. Jeremy, and I'm going to be speaking on why I find culture to be specifically important to me. As a first-generation American in my family and Filipino American, I find culture to be important because that's how I relate back to my family in the Philippines. My ancestral heritage and really my friends and family around me. Being here in Hawaii, I've learned a lot about their culture and values and traditions to them, and that's one of the reasons why I find culture to be so important. It can really connect people from all colors, all ethnicities, and whatever backgrounds. So that is why I find culture to be important to me. Thank you.
How do you find ways to appreciate your culture?
I find ways to appreciate my culture by involving myself in it. As somebody who grew up knowing bits and pieces of Spanish, I've made a decisive effort to study the language, which has helped me interact more organically with some of the people in my family or my extended family that don't speak English. And it's really gratifying to learn about the culture that surrounds these lovely people that I get to call my family.
So an experience that always comes to mind was when I grew up in the Philippines and I attended middle school there. I was really interested in running for student body president. However, I was told that I wouldn't make the great fit because I didn't look like the typical Filipino. Like, I had much lighter skin, I had much darker hair, and I had much thinner eyes. And this experience really motivated me to see discrimination in a new light and how it addresses and how it affects everybody on an international scale. It's not just a certain country.
What are some issues that impact your community that aren't talked about enough?
An issue concerning the Asian community that sometimes isn't even like considered an issue would be the fetishization of the race. I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's a compliment, but the sexualization of Asian people is it feels objectifying and it's not right.
One major social issue that I think isn't talked about enough in the media is discrimination in job applicants. Minority applicants are widening their resumes and deleting references to race in hopes that it will boost their chances of getting hired. And it's working. There's a 50% gap in callback rates when it comes to race. And a study in 2017 shows that job applicants with white names have to send 10 resumes to get one callback, whereas a POC has to send 15 resumes to get a callback. And I think that definitely isn't talked about enough in the media. Thank you.
What are some issues that impact your community?
Unfortunately, LGBTQ students face a lot of issues, especially at school. And one of the biggest problems I see at school is students going around throwing the phrase, "that's so gay," or using slurs. While it may not be used with bad intentions, it could offend students around you, so it's something we should avoid doing. To help your LGBTQ students feel safe, to avoid misgendering somebody, ask what their pronouns are. Or, avoid using somebody's dead name if you know they're transgender. Lastly, one thing I want the SV family to know is that no matter who you are and who you decide to be, we all have your backing coming out to us. Thank you.
What are some things that make you feel uncomfortable at school?
Hi, my name is Ashlyn. I like to go by Ash. My pronouns are they, she, and I'm a bisexual. So something that makes me feel unsafe in school, involving other teachers and students, would probably have to be the lack of support. And I say this because you never know what that can escalate or evolve into. And for some students, that happens to be violent situations that they can't get themselves out of. So, lack of support, it's kind of scary if you don't know how someone's going to react after that, So ways I think they can make us feel safer, they as in students and teachers, would probably be trying to understand the community. Like in themselves, if they don't understand, it would make us feel a lot safer if they tried to show the effort that they want to try to get better and try to make us feel safe and so show us that support. So yeah, and something that is my favorite thing about being a bisexual would probably have to be that gender doesn't necessarily play a role for me. Like, yes, I do have my preferences, but if I can really vibe with someone and our personalities just click really well, then, I can see, like, am I interested in this gender, yes or no? And most likely I am, so then, it takes off from there. And lastly, something I want Spring Valley to know is that the real people will support you no matter what. Whether it's with coming out or anything in general, the real people will always have your back, and you will really see who you want to keep in your life in different situations. So, yeah.
What are some things that we can do to change our world for the better?
To get to that better realm, we need to start making change. We need to start calling to our administrators or teachers, telling them, this is how, what's it about? It's not this, it's not that, it's not a sombrero. You get the idea. And with students, you can also educate your families. That way, that your families are also educated, because educating others is where it starts, where we start progressing. I already taught my parents that Asians are not all Chino, which is basically one of the common stereotypes among Mexicans, that they call every Asian Chino when there's Filipinos, Vietnamese, there's or the Japanese, Koreans. There's a lot, but because of that stereotypical, they refer everybody to Chinos because it's China. China's the biggest Asian country, so that's all they know. But teaching them that is allowing for that stuff to end.
Thanks, Grizzlies. Now I'll pass the mic to Catherine to warm up our discussion. Thank you.
What's up? I'm Catherine, a junior in Chinese club. Just to start, I would like to say Happy Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. What better time to be making this video celebrating the incredible diversity within our school. So we all probably know at least one first or second generation immigrant, whether that be your family, friends, teachers, or maybe even yourself. So it's not hard to recognize that immigrants are incredibly brilliant and talented and amazing individuals, but it doesn't mean that they don't face their fair share of discrimination due to xenophobia and racism. Personally, I've definitely witnessed people being mistreated for not being fluent in English. For example, others just saying downright mean and inappropriate things as a joke, because it's not like they'll understand anyway. That's absolutely not true, and it's extremely hurtful. So if you ever witness someone mistreating another, make sure to speak out and make it be known that this kind of behavior is not acceptable. I would also like to encourage everyone to engage in and listen to conversations with people of varying race and backgrounds, because everyone has something unique and insightful to contribute to the world. And if you don't know where to start, why not start in our very own school community, possibly by joining a cultural club. Personally, I'm quite partial to Chinese club, and you'll definitely be welcomed and you'll learn something new about a different culture.